Good afternoon, everybody. If you are here to learn about the SIIA CODiE Awards, you are at the right place. Welcome. This is Kathy Greenler-Sexton, and myself and Wendy Tanner are going to be the hosts of this webinar. Before we get started, we just wanted to get going with a couple of details just to make you aware of ways that you can make the most out of this webinar. First of all, as you probably just heard, the webinar is being recorded, and we will have an on-demand version of this webinar after today, and we will send you a link via email. Also note that everybody is on mute. So if you have any questions, there is a chat window in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, and please use that to communicate to the SII staff for any issues, questions, and we hope to answer any questions either during or at the end of the conference. So I just want to give you a sense of who is here today to walk you through the CODiE Awards process and give you some tips and tricks to make the most out of your nomination. I'm Kathy Greenler-Sexton. I'm the Vice President and General Manager of the SIIA Content Division. And the Content Division really serves media, publishing, and information companies that really are part of the content industry, as well as the technology and software firms that really support these companies. My division is one of many divisions that are part of the SIIA, and we serve the information and software industry. With me today is Wendy Tanner, and Wendy has the dubious job of running the CODiE Awards programming, and she is coordinating 75 categories across 3 industry sectors: the content sector, the software, and education. Today we will be focused on the content CODiEs, and we'll be having other webinars to really give you an education and overview of the software and education CODiEs in a few weeks. With us today are also a CODiE Award winner and a CODiE Award judge. Michael Bird is responsible for sales and business development and marketing at Net Prospects. Previously, he was the SVP of Sales and Biz Dev at BuzzAgent, and he has over 20 years experience in media, 6 of which were with CNET Networks, where he created and led international media network sales as Vice President of Global Solutions and was Vice President of Sales for CNET's Business Network. Michael is a multiple CODiE Award winner, and we hope to hear from him today on some tricks, tips, and insights as a winner to help you make the most out of your nomination. Angus Robertson is a media consultant with Robertson Advisors. Angus has extensive experience developing and running media businesses, data businesses, and news organizations. And prior to running his own organization, he was SVP of Content at Knight Ridder Financial and EVP of News and Media at Bridge Information Systems, where he led large and global news gathering teams. Angus's special area of focus includes organizational transformation, product development, digital content, media strategy, content curation, and licensing. And Angus has been a judge for several years here at the CODiE Awards, and last year he specifically judged the Best Content Management Solution and Best Online Business Information Service. So welcome, Michael and Angus. So what we'll be covering today is basically the who, what, when, where, and how of CODiEs. And as I mentioned before, please ask any questions in the chat window. So first, the timeline. The content CODiEs have kicked off, and to submit a nomination, the deadline is in a few short weeks, September 28th. The judging process will go through the end of November, November 23rd, and then there'll be a second round of voting by SIIA members during December. The winners will be announced January 31st. And you'll notice there's a few things in between when the members vote and when we announce the winners. These are activities that do not impact the final results, but we wanted to make sure you were aware because they're very valuable to any nomination that becomes a finalist. In several categories, we'll be doing buyer reviews, for the finalists. We will also have a showcase of finalists at our Information Industry Summit at the end of January, including a reception, and that will be followed the following day where we have our CODiE Awards Gala on the 31st. So there's a lot of activities, but right now we're focused on that first box, which is the nomination process. So for when you're nominating, there's some different benefits that really kind of come in. The first is when you nominate your product, and we will walk you through what a judge marks and comments on. Every judge is required to score your product based on a grid of information. And they also are required to give information such as what's great about your product or solution, what needs improvement, and overall comments. And many of the nominees in the past have really found it valuable to get that input from the judges that they will take back into their company and use that for feedback on their product. As I mentioned, we're doing buyer reviews in 5 specific categories. That's a test this year to see how you, our nominees, and future finalists find this valuable. And if we do find this valuable, we'll expand it next year. And then if you do become a finalist, there's just some of the things that we do. We make sure that we publicize it far and wide. Many of the companies who become finalists really use this as a great touch point to really validate their products and solutions with the media, with customers, investors, and prospects. And we give you a whole kit to help you really promote your finalist offering. And I know myself, and I'm sure many of you have seen many finalist logos across the Internet on many different sites. If you do win, ultimately you will be recognized at the CODiE Gala, and we will be producing videos, we'll provide press releases, and you get to have the CODiE Award for your office. And before I joined the SIIA, I've had the honor of going up on stage at the SIIA Gala, making a speech, accepting an award on behalf of my company and all my fellow colleagues. And I have to tell you, it's really an amazing feeling to be able to do that and accept an award on behalf of your company. So we really try to give all the nominations, the finalists, and the winners really the due respect and recognition you deserve for really creating a really great solution in your category. What's new this year? We have 28 total categories, 14 of which are new. We will list all the categories later, and if it makes your head spin, trust me, I understand, because we have spent quite a few months really walking through and understanding that what the right category should be. And we have a few examples here. Crowdsourcing, editorial outsourcing, semantics, social media. There's a lot of different opportunities for you to really make sure that we have a category that best fits your product and solution. So let me just dive in a little bit about the Free Pint buyer reviews. In these 5 categories that you see, business information, governance, risk and compliance, legal information, media and monitoring, media information monitoring, and best science and technology information solution, we're partnering with Free Pint Research. And what they will be doing is finding and having buyers review each solution that's a finalist and write up a buyer-specific review of features and functions from buyers who would be buying that specific type of product. And our goal in partnering with Free Pint to provide these buyer reviews is to provide finalists basically more value for your nomination, and we hope that this is really something that you can take back and it's useful for your product team and your marketing team as you do your planning. So with that, I'm going to hand this over to Wendy to go through the particulars on how to nominate, and I'll look forward to quizzing Angus and Michael on some specific tips and tricks on helping you how to make a successful nomination. Wendy?
Thanks, Kathy. And again, hi everybody. It's good to be speaking with you today. And the actual nomination form and the process of nominating is fairly simple. We try to keep it easy for everybody and it's not too time consuming. As you can see, the link to all of the content categories is on the slide. So you can look through all of them and you can click on the name of a category and the description and the criteria will drop down. So we have all the information right there for you. The second link on the slide is to the actual nomination form. And when you go to this page, you'll select Nominate Now. And from there, you will enter your email address. And it will take you to the next page so that you can fill out the form. And the form itself is very basic. We ask for product information, a little bit of company information. You obviously select your categories and give us any links to product information, or it could be a YouTube video, things like that. And once you fill out the form and submit it, you will have the opportunity to go back in and review this form. So if there is something you want to change or you'd rather put a different link in, you will be able to do that. And here we have the full list of the categories for the Content CODiE Awards this year. And we have quite a few options to choose from, so I'm sure you'll be able to fit into any number of these. And the link that we have here goes to the full page of categories because the content categories are just one of 3 areas. Kathy mentioned we also have software and we also have education. So there's definitely total we have at least 75, so many, many to choose from. And the ones that are marked with an asterisk on this slide, these are the categories where we have the free buyer reviews. So we're looking forward to that because it is new this year, and as Kathy mentioned, we do want to expand this for next year.
Great. I'm going to just dive right into the judging criteria. And Wendy, I'm just going to ask you in front of everybody, I want to make sure that Michael and Angus's microphones are on because I'm going to be quizzing them during this slide, and I wasn't able to talk and read chat at the same time. So Michael, are you there?
I just had an email from him. He should be getting on any second.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get going, and Michael and Angus, you just jump right in when you get on, and thank you everybody while we work through our technical microphone issues. So you will be getting a copy of this, and also on the website you'll be able to really look at this in a little bit better detail. But when we designed the judging criteria for each of those categories, it's important to remember that a judge is asked not to rank companies against one another in a particular category. They are asked to rank on from a 1 to a 5 how well a product fits against these particular questions. So it's one of those things where I strongly, strongly recommend, and I've been on the judging side and I've been on the presenting side, I strongly recommend you really look at this and really design your presentations so that you're hitting these questions straight on. So for example, relevance to your target audience and customer. Your customer might be a little bit different than somebody else, maybe even in a similar category. What's groundbreaking or significant? It might be that your category groundbreaking is very, very different than in a different category, but make sure you are very clear about that to the judges who will be reviewing. the innovation of the business model or your go-to-market approach. Those three questions are very market kind of questions. And the innovation of your business model, again, what might be very evolutionary or revolutionary in your segment can be very different from another. So it's helpful to educate a judge who's not an expert on your customers and not an expert on your products to make sure they really understand and have a good baseline of your customers in your market. And then we'll go through and rank these different questions on specific products, whether it's features, user features, search capabilities, and some may or may not be relevant to everything, but make sure that you've hit that. The other thing to really remember is that a judge is also asked to answer three open-ended questions. What is the strength of this product? What are the weaknesses? Or as an old boss used to call it, the growth opportunities for these products. And then some overall comments. And then that judge will write in, all of your judges will write those in, and that's looking at the scoring plus these open-ended comments is something that a lot of the nominees find valuable input for their team after the CODies. So I'll end with that, and Michael and Angus, if you're on, speak up, otherwise we'll wait for the Q&A. Okay, Wendy, back to you.
Great. So the next slide we have here is our pricing information. And you will notice that there is a difference in pricing depending on if you are a member of SIIA or not. And to go along with that, we do offer a Join and Save program if you are not a member. And this allows you to essentially get a free CODiE Awards nomination if you would like to join. And as you can see, a credit of up to $9.95 will be applied to your first year membership dues. So if you are interested in this and want some more information about membership, you can definitely email me. My contact information is on the last slide. And I'd be happy to give you more information about this. Kathy touched on the timeline earlier, and again, it's great to see these dates multiple times to remember them. And as she mentioned, new this year, we have the Finalist Showcase and the Finalist Reception that will take place at the Information Industry Summit in January. So we're very excited about both of those. And again, another reminder, the nominations do close on September 28th. So if you have any questions within these next few weeks before you submit your form or before the deadline, just let me know, call me, email me, and I'll get everything squared away so that you can submit your nomination in time. Next, I'm going to go into what the first round review entails with the judging. Once the nominations do close, I work to assign 2 judges to review your product. And there will be 2 different judges for each product and in each different category. And the judges themselves, as you can see, we do pick very qualified people. We try to find the best that we can that are the industry leaders, analysts, media, bloggers, investors. The first round review itself runs from October 8th through November 23rd. And a good way to keep in mind when the end of the review is that it's right before Thanksgiving. So if you work to complete all your judging right before Thanksgiving and have it completed by then you're in good shape. Now, once I assign you your judges, you will be emailed about this, and I'll give you information on how to log into your nominee dashboard and review their contact information. And I really suggest once you have this information to reach out to them right away regarding scheduling a demo. And we do encourage you to do a live product demonstration with the judges using a platform like we're using now, ReadyTalk, or through WebEx. And try to keep it definitely below an hour and have time for question and answer. But we do recognize that scheduling can be an issue sometimes, so a judge may need a recorded demo. So one thing you can do with this, if you are able to schedule a live demo, record it. And then you also have it in case a judge would like a recording, and you have it as well to use in your other marketing materials, or if you want to send if someone has a question about your product. So you can definitely get many uses out of having a recorded demo. And we also like nominees to provide product access to the judges, so it's another way for them to review your product. Maybe it's some temporary login information, so they can go in and kind of use the product and get a feel for it as well. And obviously, oh, sorry, go ahead, Kathy.
No, I was just going to, a nomination don't is to have a junior person just send the judges log into your product and call it a day, because I know I've had that happen to me, and I will try my darndest to do right by that product. But really having somebody who is senior and really understands the product and the strategy to be able to answer a judge's questions is really, really helpful. I've literally had some people, I'd ask a question and they would say, thank you very much, that's a great question. I'll have to go back and talk to so-and-so and get back to you. And they might get back to me a week or two later, and it's really hard to judge a product like that. So I really encourage everybody to make it as easy as possible for that judge to really understand your product, respond, and help them understand what makes your product just so unique and special.
That's a great point, Kathy. Thank you for bringing that up. And there is a lot more information on the How It Works page, which is the link at the bottom of this slide. And at any time, please, if something's not clear, you can just email me, call me, and I can go over everything. And before I move on to that next slide, I wanted to ask Angus, who is a longtime judge, if he has any suggestions and some tips for our nominees about preparing a demo or presenting their demo. Angus, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Hello everybody. You already touched on a few of these things, but I'll just emphasize a few points. The first thing I would suggest is to make contact with your judges as early as possible and find out what works for them in terms of times that they want to do the demos and what kind of form that they prefer. I would highly recommend making sure you can do a live demo as opposed to a recorded one. I know they can be recorded anyway, but just speaking personally, the live ones are definitely better live. And even if that means doing it at some odd hour of the day or night, which sometimes happens. The other thing I would try to ascertain is, and this is what some of the better presentations have come from, is trying to establish the level of knowledge that the judge has about your particular area or products. Some of these categories, the products are fairly similar, and others they can be quite different. So it's good to understand their background and their level of knowledge. How technical are they? How much do they know about content, and so on. And then I would just emphasize the point of getting the judges online access is very important. It's all very well to get a PowerPoint presentation and a sort of canned demo online, but there's no substitute for being able to play with it yourself and figure out if it works as advertised. I think in terms of what not to do, I would say try not to cram too much in. Sometimes I think people are aware of the time constraints and they try to have 4 or 5 people tag teaming a demo and jumping from one to the other, and you can end up not really getting the point across. And then I would also emphasize the point that was made earlier about really trying to get the judges to understand what it is that's special about your product and how it what it's designed to do and how it does it. I mean, that sounds very simple, but it's amazing how people can sometimes get lost in the weeds. And particularly when you've got categories where the products are not are quite different. I think it's what I've learned over the years of judging is really that you have to judge each one on its own merits and not force rank them. So you're going to judge them based on looking at what does this product say it's trying to do and how well does it do it. So I think if you really focus on that, then you should have a good presentation. And the other thing I would understand there is what is the judge's timeline? Do they like to do the demo and then do their reporting right away, or do they like to spend time and do it right before the deadline? And to follow up with them and say, is there anything more that you need? Do you have any questions? And I'll stop at that point, but I'm happy to answer any more questions.
Great, thank you, Angus. And I'd also like to ask Michael, as a nominee and a winner last year, his experience with the judge review process, and if he can also offer up some tips for everybody.
Sure. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep,
Great,
we can.
Great. And Angus, it was great to hear your comments, having been doing the presentation myself to some of the judges last year, really for the last couple of years. And for us, I think the big aha moment for us came when we made a decision that this wasn't a standard sales call. And I heard earlier, hey, don't just have some sales rep send the link over, there's a demo, go do it for yourself. I mean, it really is something to customize a presentation that's a business presentation about your product. And our focus was moving the business outside of the sales orientation and into the product orientation. So one thing we did was I gave the presentation myself, and actually Code did it. Now I'm the president of the business, along with our VP of product. So I wanted the subject matter expert, the person who built the product, the person that was aligned with all the different constituencies, that we made sure that we had a product that that fit and could answer the deep questions about what it did, what it didn't do, and why we built it. And we got into some great business steps about the product. I think it certainly made for a very engaging conversation and one that was very, very thoughtful, and it showed the depth of knowledge that the judges had. And I think what you need to tap into in order to truly be able to make your product, or service resonate amongst hardy competition.
That's great. Thank you, Michael. Kathy, do you have anything you want to add in before I move to the next slide?
Sure. Angus, I just wanted you to touch back on one thing, just about the judging criteria. I just want people to really understand how you really try and use the criteria to judge each product against itself, which is why you ask those questions to people like Michael, and you're not ranking them. Can you add any more color to that?
Yes. I mean, I think there's a tremendous tendency to do what you're not supposed to do, which is to force rank them and say, there's 5 products here, which one did I like best? And then, and that's really not right and not fair. And also to sort of save up the judging process until you've seen all the products, and that may be not fair either. I think if you're judging each product independently against these criteria, then the best product will come out ahead because you're doing it consistently. You're not trying to say, well, I like that one best. So that's really important. And over the last few years, that process has been constantly refined, and I think significantly improved in terms of establishing the criteria and really getting judges to work to the criteria, so that you're looking at each one independently rather than looking at them all as a group. Because as I said, some of these categories are the the products are really quite different from each other, and it really is not fair and impossible to compare them. And I think, again, the way I approach it is just looking at what is this product trying to do and how well does it do it.
Yep.
And then using the criteria to market against that.
Yep. And that's just important because that's something we really stress with all the judges across all the categories, is to rank each product against itself with that criteria, which is why we really emphasize today, why we have been emphasizing today, the importance of really making sure your presentation to that judge really hits those key points. And Michael, thank you so much. What a great point about this is not a sales presentation, this is a business presentation. I think I would really take that to heart. So thank you on that. So, Wendy?
Great. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay. So the first round review is completed right before Thanksgiving. And next becomes the finalist selection. And again, the judges provide the scores and they use the criteria. And these scores make up 80% of the product's overall score. So it really is a very big percentage, and it's why we take the first round judging so seriously and really trying to get the best judges we can. So again, it is purely based on score. And the number of finalists for each category varies based on the number of nominations that we have in each category. For example, we could have 20 nominations in one category, and there would be more finalists than if there were 5 nominations in one category. And you'll see here we do notify all the nominees via email, and we'll let you know if the specific product is or is not a finalist and in which particular categories. So we definitely let you know, and you receive this email before we make any public announcements about who the finalists are, just so that you are the first to know. And again, you can request a copy of the judges' feedback. At this point, just email me or call me, and I can certainly send this over to you. Okay. Again, we announce the finalists on December 3rd. And we will, at this point, we'll issue a press release. We use social media. We'll post it on our blog. And you will also, when I send you the email on your finalist status, if you are a finalist, you will receive the finalist logo that you can use on your website, your print pieces, anywhere you would like to use that.
Hey, Wendy?
Sure. Yep.
Can I interrupt? I'd like to ask Michael a question. Michael, when you became a finalist and then when you became ultimately a winner in several categories, I might add, how did you leverage that? How did you use that in your business? What did tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah, I just want to make sure everyone can hear me again.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Fantastic. So it was a big deal, and is still a big deal for us. And some of the ways we leveraged it. Look, everybody goes out there and you get a logo and you put it on your website, and we certainly put it on every page, of our website. But to go beyond that, I mean, we shot a video. We tried to show our enthusiasm for the video, and we actually, something we did that was along with the spirit and culture of our business. But we literally shot a video with one of the Blogger pop-up cameras where the whole trek with the awards back from New York to Boston, on the train with it, watching on the train, bringing it into the office, and shot a spot with every single employee as it was roaming around to some funky music. And we got so much traffic, so much interest, and we promoted the heck out of that little video in emails. Hey, check out what we've just done. We went above and beyond just the standard logo treatment, on it to make people aware of it, and it was certainly a point of validation for our business. We, like I think many, companies and people who apply on this phone, are in a highly competitive marketplace. We'd all like to be in a place where we're the only game in town, but that's pretty rare. And so our ability to use the award and both awards as seals of approval, chinning a pretty high bar, helped us stand out amongst a heady competition. And we trained our salespeople on what it meant so that put it into their sales scripts, for instance, and into presentations, so that it was noted and that it stood out for us as a major accomplishment. There's just a few examples of how we treated it.
Thanks, Michael. Go ahead, Wendy.
Okay, so after we announce our finalists, we go into the member voting phase. And as you can see, this is a couple weeks in December. A good way to remember this, if you're a finalist, is it's right before Christmas. We try to wrap up the member voting. And the member voting consists of members of the content division. They participate and they look at the finalists in each category and submit their votes. This makes up 20%, so really the big portion is the first round review. But again, it makes up 20%, so it all goes together and helps us figure out the whole score and who the winner is. Kathy and I both touched on this earlier, but we are excited about the CODiE Finalist Showcase that we are going to have at IIS in January.
Yes, and so we wanted a way to not only just announce the winners at the Information Industry Summit, which really is the the information industry's conference for leaders. We wanted a way to have all finalists in all categories, a way for them to show off that they were a finalist, and also to promote their product and their companies to the 300 plus C-suite people who will be at the Information Industry Summit. So finalists should be on the lookout for that and participating in that showcase and networking opportunity.
Great. And we also, on the evening of the 30th, we have a finalist reception as well. So it should be a really great day between the showcase and the reception. Then the following day, on the 31st, this is when we announce all the winners. And we really enjoy this. I really love planning this portion of IIS. It's a great time to get all the winners in one place and get everyone on stage.
And if you've never been to it, it's basically, think of it as the Academy Awards, except it's us, the information industry. It's gathering. So you've got all the people who are attending the Information Industry Summit, all the people who are participating, the nominees from the CODiE Awards, and the winners are announced. The category, the description, drum roll with the finalists, and then the winner is announced, and you go up on stage and you accept the award and make a brief speech. We don't have an orchestra like the Academy Awards. It's not quite to that level, but it's a real big deal, and it is really, really exciting. So I encourage everybody just to mark your calendars for that, to make sure if you're in New York to come to the CODiE Gala on the 31st.
Okay. The last slide we have here is, we'll just start the Q&A in a minute, and my contact information is here. It's also on the website. And again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me or call me. Kathy, do you have anything else you'd like to add before we go into the Q&A?
I'd just like to thank everybody for attending the webinar. If you have any specific questions, I'm also available. Wendy can forward your questions to me. I'm happy to field any questions or help you in any way with your nomination. So with that, we can get off to questions. I think we have a few questions in here. One question, I guess this is back to Michael on your reaction and how you've been leveraging it. Have you leveraged, with your finalist or your CODiE award winner, did investors versus employees versus customers, did you use it all the same way, or did you develop specific things for different types of groups that you sell to or interact with?
Sure, that's an excellent question, and we had some some communication went across all three, but we did have specific, we did tailor some specific communication depending on who we were speaking to, so customers versus clients, and certainly our investors and our board, right? And we used that as a as a major point of reference. Although the award criteria when you're talking to the judges was not about a you versus somebody else, you're certainly using it, out in the marketplace as a validation, right? That's when it really went into the sort of the sales orientation and us validating our business and the strength of our technology and the and the recognition and stuff. We use it in our venture funding. We had a round of funding that came out just post, not far post that we engaged in. It was a major part of again our delivering value, right? Showing we were delivering value, creating value. Yep. Here's our customers, here's our revenue, all of that due diligence that goes into it. Having another third-party entity of the stature, of the CODiE being awarded to us was a major, point of validation that we used as an executive team, with the venture community. The same thing our salespeople did in a training, when we did to showcase to feel good, right? And that's really what it was there, for them to feel proud of the business that they were in and the product that we were building.
Got it. I've got actually a couple of questions I think that are more geared towards you here. How important was the judging criteria in how you presented your solution to the judging team?
Very. So we didn't, as a business, understand that thoroughly the first time. We went through it, and we I think almost had a cursory, oh great, there's this criteria. We're just, and I go back to my earlier point, we just are going to do a sales pitch, which didn't speak to the points for an earlier product that we had. But here we really got some guidance going in the next time, and we tailored it. We looked at it. Our team built a custom presentation. Again, had nothing to do with the sales organization whatsoever. Had everything to do with myself and our VP of product, and talking about the product as it related to the very specific questions, and guidance that we had. And then I brought in marketing to help me simply, tell the story and build the presentation and the slides and the examples, which were critical to help bring it to life. The real examples, of the product, so that they can see. And if we had a customer experience that spoke to one of those examples, we certainly used that, and frankly I don't know if any of the judges took advantage of that or not, but we opened it up and said, if you want to speak to someone about this, go speak to them. Again, I don't know that they did, but we made offers such as that. We were totally transparent, in it. And I think that conveyed a level of confidence in the product, in the technology, and and how it worked.
Well, that's really good, and I'd like to thank everybody for the questions that you're submitting. I know we are running out of time, but let me ask one other question, and again, it's to you, Michael. You're the man of the hour here, I guess. Demos, the live product demo. How did you approach that, and what's your advice on that vis-a-vis the presentation you just talked about?
Sure. So I let our product team, our product VP, I let him do the demo. I did not do the demo. And again, I was trying as best as possible to talk about the business case, and then I stepped out of it, and I wanted to have no sense of the quote-unquote selling being associated to answering the questions. And and certainly not that they can't spin a nice tale about the use case, because they certainly can, but I really wanted to provide the credibility around the product, the technology, what is it trying to accomplish. Something that Angus said earlier still resonates with me, right? This isn't about you versus somebody else. It's you against yourself. What are you trying to accomplish here, and how well have you done that? And our product team, or at least within our business, I believe that the most suited and competent to tell that story and answer the hard questions that we're asked.
That's really, really great.
Can you hear me? This is Angus.
Yes.
I just wanted to add that one other thing, if I recall correctly, that they did was to provide really full access to their product to be able to play around with it. Sometimes people are reluctant to do that, or they'll give you limited access, and really, I don't know how important that was in the grand scheme of things, but I certainly think it helps.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And I know on the judging application we asked potential judges what access they had to different mobile platforms, iPad, Android, et cetera, because a number of products are not just web-based or otherwise, they're mobile as well. So I think it's important to think about having a judge experience your product in whatever ways your customers typically experience them. So thank you for that. We are running out of time. There is one last question that I did see, which I think I can answer, or perhaps Wendy, you can answer, but it's just about how many products can I nominate, and is there a limit? So you can submit a product in one of 3 categories. Is that correct, Wendy?
Yes, you can nominate one product in a maximum of 3 categories, but there is no limit on the number of products you can nominate.
That's great, great. All right, anything else, Wendy?
That's really all I had. I'd like to thank everybody as well for joining this webinar today, and we will be sending out the recording to this so that you can review it. And again, please do not hesitate at all to ask me any questions.
Great. Well, thank you everybody for attending. Thank you, Angus. Thank you, Michael. Your insight, I'm sure, was invaluable. And I hope everybody has a great day. And again, if you have any follow-up questions, feel free to reach out to Wendy and myself as a backup to Wendy. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you. Please stand by.